Good day, everyone. Welcome to Dial the Gate, the Stargate Oral History Project. I'm waiting to hear back from Michael. I'm not sure what's going on. This is the first time that he's done this, but we've got such a large crowd of 250 people. So I decided to bring a few guests in to hang with us. How you guys doing?
Yeah, you said Dial the Gate, which it is, but this is technically on another spot this week,
That's
which is
exactly
interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wormhole Extremists, for letting me borrow.
Commandeer.
That's good.
Commandeer this channel.
Yeah.
Well, this
you are
yours.
very welcome. That's it. Exactly. This is a shared space.
It is indeed.
And we have a shared vision of sharing Stargate.
Yeah, so we're waiting to hear
a fine platform for Michael.
I hope that he's okay.
Yeah.
He's always extremely prompt. Anytime when I just reach out to him anyway, he's on it. So I hope everything's all right. So we're gonna hang around just so that I can, provide an update so that we can reschedule it. But I do have someone else who's special who was actually here to surprise Michael, and he's gonna be joining us in just a second here. Darren, how you doing?
It's not me. And it's not me.
That's it.
I'm just here.
Darren's just here.
You're a special
I
guest
tried to get
of another
sleep
kind.
last night after the big announcement and 3 days of live streaming on Dial the Gate and Gate World. And you said, hey, how about we do it again?
I know.
Because it's so much fun.
Well, I don't know about you, but I slept better than I have this whole week last night. I was gone. You?
It's been a blast, but it's, squeezed all the juice out of me.
It's like a convention weekend.
It is.
Right?
It is, exactly.
It's that same level of energy in terms of like the amount of brain power that's been used. I just feel like wiped. So,
hanging out with fans, talking about something new, seeing some guests.
And then Nicole and I haven't had the same schedule as you guys, but I have been up quite early. I think this is my third day this week. So it has been taking its toll.
Remind everyone what time it is for you, Yvie. What time is it?
It's 2:30 in the morning.
Exactly.
This is the third time this week that I've been up this early, but it's a fine cause, and I have my Stargate mug of coffee. So
look at that thing. Jeez.
See how I go sleeping after this.
Yeah.
For sure. It'd be like watching Peter the Great devour Sweden. All right. So I wanted to let everyone know what it is that we have here. So while we're waiting on Michael, this is the Wormhole Extremists rewatch channel. This is Dial the Gate's little sister channel. And Nicole, myself, Yvie, we all get on this thing every Sunday, generally speaking, and cover 2 hours of Stargate in airing order. So tomorrow, what are we covering, Yvie?
We are watching Endgame, and we are also watching what is the other one?
The Storm?
The Storm.
Yes.
So Yvie, you are magic with the memes. And what did you use for this week's Wormhole Extremist meme?
This was funny.
This was really fun. Like the synchronicity here is like very bizarre. Yeah.
Well, a little backstory. I was typing out my notes for Endgame, and the very start of that episode is Walter and the other technician, I can't remember his name, and they've decided to take a break from their 2 a.m. shift watching over the Stargate to sneak some coffee, and that's when the gate is beamed away, and there's like the offline banner sort of flashing all around the gate room. And I thought, oh my God, it just feels very relevant to what was happening with the Dial the Gate channel being sort of inaccessible at the moment while things sorted out in the background. So I thought that would be perfect to use. So that's what we used as kind of a meme to encapsulate this whole
well I appreciate having you guys. Yvie, can you duck for a minute, and I'm going to bring in our special guest. Is that okay?
Am I ducking too?
No, not you.
So just turn off my video?
Yes. Thank you.
Why am I staying?
Because I love your reactions.
Oh God.
They are classic.
Oh,
you're more animated than me.
That's
it. God, I'm actually shaking. It's fine. I've already met him twice.
It's just a dude, He
I don't know who this dude is.
And it's a working dude on top of that. So
it's this dude. Yay.
Are you seeing him? Because I'm not seeing him.
I'm seeing a empty space that's now unmuted and muted again. With no visuals.
Uh-oh.
No.
Hey, there he is. Oh my God.
A special guest coming around.
You keep your lightning in your pants. or your robes, Mr. Harcesis child. How you doing? Don't throw any bolts at us.
Unmute yourself, Lane.
Lane, I can't hear you. You're on. I think you're on mute, buddy.
Can you hear me now?
This is mental. This is mental.
I'm still figuring out this whole technology thing.
So I can't bring you Michael at the moment. We're waiting to hear back from him. I hope he's okay. But Lane agreed to come on and surprise Michael. And so, buddy, it's so good to see you. How you doing?
I've been doing pretty good. It's starting to get a little chilly out here in Alberta, Canada, but doing pretty good.
The Sunshine Coast, is that what you guys call it? Where you're at?
No, I'm in Calgary, Alberta at the moment.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of where. Okay, got it. Apologies.
Yeah, usually I'm in Kelowna, enjoying the beach and everything, but not today. Today I'm in Calgary. So.
Okay, cool. Darren, meet Lane.
Lane, it's so great to meet you. I appreciated your work. Obviously on Stargate.
Thank you.
The Absolute Power is one of my favorite episodes, and it is a warning. And it's one of the ones that I've been really saving in my back pocket so that we could have Michael on, and I was hoping that that Lane would be able to come in at some point here. Michael is usually very prompt, so we're just kind of waiting, and partly just want to know that he's okay. So I'm kind of going to hang out here and hopefully provide that information with you guys. I emailed Lexa. I don't have her number, but I emailed her, and we're just waiting to get some more information. Nicole, meet Lane.
Hi, Lane. I don't do well with meeting the actors from Stargate because I just get a little bit shy, which is so funny because I'm so loud and annoying. So it's like, wah, you know.
Funny for the rest of us to watch.
I don't I'm super uncomfortable right now.
Why are you uncomfortable?
I'm fine. It's fine.
Chat, if you've got mods, if you've got any questions in the chat for Lane, if you want to put them at the top of the dog pile here, I'm going to create a space. If there's anyone in the chat who has something to ask him, we're going to hang out with him for a little bit here and salvage the show as much as we can. I really appreciate everyone who's come over to Wormhole Extremists to have this conversation with us. Dude,
our sister show.
The show is back. The franchise is coming back. It's been 14 years. You were on it. What do you think?
I am so excited for it. I'm really happy that they're bringing it back, and
you're a fan.
To the fans. Yeah, absolutely. You know,
awesome.
Some of my greatest memories as a child and working on that show and meeting everybody, and I'd be really interested to see where the story goes from here.
Exactly. It's always wild to see what's going on, you know, with all of you guys out there, and then to have you come back in and be able to share with you the fact that this franchise is no longer inert. You know, something's going to happen. Darren, do you have anything for Lane?
What's your relationship with Michael these days? Have you had any contact with him since filming Absolute Power all those years ago, or is this a surprise? I was that little kid you worked with.
No, this is a surprise. I was the little kid that you worked with.
Awesome.
He has good memories of that episode. So,
yeah, it was a very important episode for Daniel, right? Not just because of Shifu's connection with Sharai, but that sort of realization that Absolute Power gave us, which is that even if we could get access to all the knowledge of the Goa'uld that is in Shifu's head, we shouldn't.
Yeah,
Absolute Power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They one of the biggest things was, you know, he's got all that information stuck in his head, right? And everybody wants it, and he kind of showed him a little bit of a glimpse of, well, you know, be careful what you wish for.
Be careful.
It's kind of the premise, right?
Yeah.
And it was just really cool, you know, being that character, and with the fast aging and everything. I kind of wonder where would he be now, right?
They said that he was programmed genetically to age to the point where we saw you. So now he will age normally, which means they could do anything with him in the future. So,
that's right.
Yeah. I've got a couple of questions for you here. Kathy's Call 3899. Did you ever find it challenging to act opposite certain actors? Would some treat you like a kid? Would others treat you like a peer? How did that work as a dynamic with a child actor? Was it individual, or was it kind of like, this is a child actor, we're going to treat him just like any other actor? Or was it different for every actor you were sharing a scene with?
I think it was a little different for every actor, you know. But for the most part, everybody just kind of treated me like an actor and the character. Um, and so it, hmm.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
it
it's been
was,
a while since you've been acting, so this is not what you
yes,
do anymore. I'd like to remind. So he's doing me a favor just by showing up. Thanks, buddy.
yeah, no, I haven't been acting. Stargate was one of the last things that I did as an actor. Um, and so, you know, but it was almost a little over 20 years ago now, that I did Absolute Power. But no, it was really great. Everybody kind of treated me just another actor on set, and yeah, of course, it was intimidating with some actors with depending on the scenes that we were doing. But you know, and I remember working with Daniel quite a bit, and you know, that was just awesome. You know, watching someone actor, I remember thinking, man, I am not as good as these guys are. So
Gotta start from
Don't
somewhere.
you, also don't be
well,
so hard on
absolutely.
yourself,
You were 12, right?
especially as a child. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, right? But it was
Remind us who
definitely
directed that? Who directed your episode?
Peter, I
Eloise.
believe.
It's
Peter
Deloise.
Deluise, yeah,
It was a Peter DeLuise special. Good.
yeah, and he was awesome. I mean, he was just a whole lot of fun to work with.
I
I
do have
I
I have a follow-up question
Yeah,
to like
Nicole.
just in general to what David said earlier, which is that so you're like, like a fan of the show. Like, what are things that you're like a big fan of? Because I have loads of hobbies and I love finding out what other people are big fans of and hobbies of, because that's where our passions are. So like what's something you're a big fan of that isn't Stargate necessarily?
I really loved, like, even as a kid, the whole idea of a Stargate was pretty
That's
cool,
great.
right?
Okay.
The the whole wormholes and the aspect of that was just really cool. You know, how would an ancient civilization, you know, travel around, you know, and how would they move things and things like that, and the whole concept of wormholes and things like that. That was a really cool concept for me, and I kind of
Hmm.
kept that passion for, I don't know, even up till now, it's kind of a really cool concept. You kind of keep on science and learning some of the things that they're learning, that, you know, wormholes are potentially possible now. And
Black holes are real. We've got
Who
a photo of
knows?
it.
yeah, you
Yeah.
know, you spend a little bit too much time around them, and the whole idea of time kind of slips
Yeah.
away, right?
Hmm.
So that whole
Yeah.
concept is really cool. I really like the kind of
Yeah.
bringing.
For everyone who's joining us right now, Michael, I haven't heard from him this morning. I hope that everything's all right. At this point, I'm kind of hanging on just so that I can give you guys all news. I'm sure everything's fine, but he's usually the first. Anytime I text him, he's usually, first to respond, whether or not we have something happening. So just kind of hanging around
So this is very out of character, which
the
is
porch here with the light on, just kind of looking down the road and waiting for a pair of headlights at this point. But Lane, I have a question for you that's really esoteric, and I really appreciate you coming here to pinch hit for him, which is what this has turned out to be. So I'm going to keep this. This is great. You rewatched the episode when you came on, and it's kind of like it's a dream, but I think it is him in there, because he's sharing this with Daniel. I think that there's a piece of him that's in there. When you guys advance forward and you're eating the bowl of cereal, he has which is a staple, in our show for sure.
Yeah.
Shifu's sitting at the breakfast table with Daniel, and he has the line, he says, breakfast is the most important people of the day. And Daniel asks him, did Oma teach you that? And what does he say?
Television.
That's right. And he has a smile on his face,
Yeah.
which is not something that Shifu really did until we saw him at the end. Did
Yeah.
you get that impression when you were watching that back, that your idea was that he's acclimated to Earth a little bit, that he's kind of left a piece of he's still wearing the garb, but he's kind of left, personality-wise, a piece of the monk behind? Or
Absolutely, yeah.
So that is what's happened.
Absolutely. It's he's basically putting some of that Oma and his past behind him, and now he's kind of watching TV and learning all this new stuff from from Earth as it is.
Oh boy, he's discovered
And
sugar.
he's
Yeah.
We have a problem.
discovered all the great things, and oh man, this Oma teaches, but she didn't teach me any of this stuff. So, he's kind of excited by it as well, and so
Oh, that's
I think
good.
he's kind of dived right into Earth and all the things that it has to offer. And I mean, Fruit Loops. I mean, I'm still a fan of Fruit Loops to this day, but I ate more than I ever did as a child, just
Well,
during that one day.
yeah, because you didn't have it. That's what
Yeah,
you had said earlier. The
yeah,
it's kind of one doesn't really follow the other in that case, because if that was the case with his personality, now I would have expected him to be in some normal clothes, but
right.
they also just kind of they weren't clear about it because it was Michael's story, so
Mhm.
it was Daniel's story, and so it was a dream, and it wasn't that this was a new reality where time had moved on. So it made sense for you to stay in the same outfit, but at the same time, you could interject a little bit more of your own personality, or
Mhm.
what his personality would have been had he been raised on Earth with Daniel and Shari,
I would have
like
liked to see
Daniel
some nerdy
wanted.
t-shirts, some like kids nerdy t-shirts of like maybe some
Yeah,
wormholes or
Or
something,
corn,
something fun.
or
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin,
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think for him that was just what he feels comfortable in, right? And to
Yeah.
be fair, those robes are pretty comfortable as so.
Give me my slippers.
Why would I want to put on this shirt and tight pants and everything? I got this robe that's extremely comfortable. So, you definitely wouldn't want to leave all of yourself behind. So,
Absolutely. Darren?
Uh, I'm just going to say
That's
that I'm going to have to dip, guys, if that's
Thank
okay.
you.
I've got dinner to do, but Lane, it was lovely to
all
meet
right.
you. And there's
Thank
somebody
you.
you
else in the
too.
wings that I got to meet. So I'm really just appreciative of David always looking after us and people coming over to the channel to say hi. And
Thanks, Nicole.
yeah, love you guys.
Love you. Talk
Bye.
to
Good
you
to see you.
soon. Diana, can you join us,
See you later,
please?
Nicole.
Darren, do you have another question for Lane?
I'm just following up. I think it's just such a brilliant take on the episode that there's a part of Shifu in the dream. He's almost sort of getting the chance to experience Daniel and how Daniel sees the world through
Mhm.
Daniel's dream. And it makes sense, right? Because at the end, the line is, "Thank you for teaching me of my mother."
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it makes
That's
sense that
why he came.
he's got more contact with Daniel than
Yeah.
just that first scene when he dips his forehead.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of just not just a one way. I'm not just showing you something too. It's kind of I'm getting a little something from you as well, right? And so it's kind of that shared connection for while he's, in his dream state or whatever. So
Yeah,
I think
dreams
that
teach, and it goes two ways there.
that's
That's
right.
brilliant.
That's Oma teaches in dreams too, right? So it's
Yeah, they're ethereal. They can be whatever they want.
yeah, right.
So,
So
Lane, I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine. This is Diana Dru Botsford. She is a
right.
producer and writer in Hollywood. She also is responsible for two Stargate SG-1 books that are very key to Daniel, the Drift and Four Dragons. Diana, surprise! You didn't expect
Yeah.
when you wake up today that you'd meet a lightning throwing energy being. So
Well, but also, listen, Lane, it's really great to meet you, and your performance was an inspiration for my second of my books, The Drift, in
yes,
which Skara comes back utilizing a lot of the talents or techniques that you used as Shifu in Absolute Power. So this is kind of cool to meet you.
That's awesome. Well, nice to meet you too.
I loved your work. It was great.
Thank you.
do you have any? Do you have anything you might want to ask Lane, given the context of the show and Daniel's journey and everything that he brought about?
I think that what's interesting is that there were times in the relationship of the characters on the screen that there had to be a little bit of one-way animosity coming from Daniel. And so as a child, how old were you? I'm sorry, how old were you at the time?
I was 12, I believe. 11.
So, I mean, was this predominantly you yourself, or did Deloise work with you to get you to understand, don't take this personally, this is just the characters in action?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, he definitely coached me a little bit as to what to expect from the other actors and kind of where their headspace was as is in the characters, just to kind of prepare me for, hey, it's just acting, just so you know. This is kind of, it's going to be a little standoffish, but don't take it personally. It's just it's what we're trying to do. And I'd done quite a few acting jobs before that.
Oh,
So I was kind of aware as to it was just everything on screen, especially because as soon as the cameras stopped rolling, we were all laughing and joking around with each other. So it was a really fun environment, actually.
well, DeLuise is great, so I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah, he's a big jokester for sure. So it was.
Was there ever discussion about you coming back to reprise your role?
No, not really, because I had kind of stepped away from acting, pretty much when the show ended. I stopped working with my agent and was just kind of being a kid and a teenager until I was 16. I didn't really do anything with film again, and then yeah, I kind of stepped away from it from that point. But um, yeah, so I don't know. It would be cool for sure, but no, I had stepped away from acting, so that wasn't really in the cards, I don't think.
Now, the writer's wheels are turning right now. Imagine.
Yeah.
Darren, can you minimize for a second? I want to bring in Yvie. Are you there, Yvie? There she is.
Hello.
Say hi to Lane. Lane, this is my other
Hi,
co-host,
Lane.
Yvie.
I've
Hi.
been lurking in the background.
Do you have any
No
questions
worries.
for Lane?
I have some that are in the question
Do you
sheet.
yourself have questions for Lane? If not, you
Oh,
can
goodness.
pretend that someone else. No, if you could ask, yeah.
Steal somebody else's question.
Yeah.
The most common question that we have in the chat is it was probably covered in your Dial the Gate interview, I think, Lane. But
Yeah, let's do it.
if you wouldn't mind just revisiting it for those who are in the chat presently, they've just asked how you got into acting. You said that you were 12. Is that when you started acting, or had you started acting prior to that?
No, so I think my first film was a TV movie called Major Crimes, and I believe I was about 6 years old
Ooh.
when I started that.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Wow.
yeah, so I'd done quite a few things up to that point. I believe I was on Outer Limits as well.
Yeah.
Of
I think I was
course.
in the first Crow movie. Major Crimes was a big movie. Went to Toronto as like 6 years old with my mom and yeah, so she started me off in modeling as a kid. One of my first things I did was in Hollywood, actually, where
Wow.
I had to be Simba or one of the lions and skip down this
Oh.
runway, but I didn't know how to skip, so I kind of just hopped down this runway,
Oh, too
and
cute.
sweating profusely because I didn't know how to skip at the time, and my brain just would not put two and two together how to do it, no matter how much anyone showed me.
Oh,
And
that would have been adorable though.
yeah, so
Did
after
your
that,
mum
I
get
did
any footage of that?
no, unfortunately not.
Aw.
But yeah, it's seared into my memory for sure.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. So you
and then
said
after
you'd walked away from acting as a craft. So what are you currently doing?
I run heavy equipment in the oil fields of Alberta, Canada.
Wow,
So
that's a that's a big change from acting. You don't kind of
yeah,
get the acting itch. You don't want to do like stage or anything like that. You've completely retired from acting.
yeah. I mean, for the most part, I mean,
Yeah,
I kind of it's in the oil fields. It's kind of hard to. You don't really have much time for anything else.
I bet.
I've got three kids and a wife, and
Oh, wow, busy.
so it's
Family.
busy life for sure. We
Yeah.
work 12-hour days, 20 days at a time. Then we get about 10 days
Oh,
off,
wow.
and so
Oh,
Rick,
okay. Yeah, we call that fly in, fly out.
that's right.
Like
Yeah,
the mining FIFO
yeah.
work.
We
Yeah.
drive to site. Unfortunately, there's no
Oh,
fly
wow.
in job. It's I drove 5 hours yesterday to get to Calgary and got another
Oh
six
my
drive on
goodness.
Monday.
yeah, a lot of
Oh,
audiobooks,
geez.
right?
Audiobooks
Absolutely,
or
yeah.
David, wormhole extremists.
Yes, wormhole extremists, absolutely. But I mean, it's you can't. We're not that good at an audiobook if you're not going to be able to watch it. And I don't recommend you watch
not really.
Stargate and listen to us and drive at the same time. That's
No,
a lot
please
of
don't do
that's
that.
a lot of focus pulled away from the road. Thank you to Lockwatcher and Rick Costa for those questions. Just make sure you read those off, Yvie, as well.
Yes,
The names.
absolutely.
So,
do you want me to
yeah,
ask
go ahead.
some more of Lane?
Actually, can we sit
What
one
have we
aside
got?
for Diana real quick here?
Yeah, there
Go
is
down to
actually
Kappa
one for
1611.
Diana.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So, Diana, Kappa 1611 has asked, as a writer, what do you think of the trend towards more serialized shows? How did it affect the writing storytelling? Or how does it affect the writing storytelling?
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, there's actually there is a group in networks that are preferring going back to episodic as well. So
Yeah.
there's a push me pull me going on, and I can tell you, developing my own television material, that the best of both worlds is really the only way to go, where you have the A plot is self-contained to that episode, it's resolved at the end of the episode, but the B plot is serialized, kind of like Stargate was. SG-1, they did that too, which is why I love that show. Deep Space Nine also, once it got over it being so terrified of what they had set up, they got into that as well, thanks to Iris Bear, where your A plot, you're satisfied at the end of the episode, but B is just building and building and building and building, typically with a mid-season, and then things will settle down, and then the end of the season, things come back to face themselves. I mean, Apple doesn't need to do that. Apple doesn't really care about numbers, so they can do things like Pluribus, you know,
Right.
or
Really niche
Ted
entertainment.
Lasso. Even Ted Lasso season 3 was more serialized than the first two seasons. What's Scrubs going to be like? Conversely, you know, but because that's ABC.
Yeah.
You know, I can't
that's
wait
true.
personally. I think
Do you
Bill
think
Lawrence
it's-
is a genius.
Yes, yeah, I really enjoyed Scrubs as well, so I'm looking forward to that too. Do you think it's a lot harder now with these really condensed seasons? You know, you only get, say, 9 episodes rather than like the 22 that we used to get.
Yes, it's. This is my concern for the new Stargate series. To be perfectly honest, it means you don't get to stumble. And the only way to push boundaries and to try new things is to allow yourself to stumble. I mean, if you think
Exactly.
about that very first season of SG-1, those first few episodes are a little rough and a little like, let me go get my box of crackers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think at that stage they already had a few seasons sort of in the bag, didn't they? They'd already signed on for the first couple of seasons, so they had room to play with the story and build the characters and the worlds.
Right, but then you
with
get to like
these-
that, you know, even that 5th or 6th episode, and you're like, "Ooh, this is going places, and this is taking chances."
Yes.
You know, so I think Martin and Brad and Joe and their fellow staff writers really have a challenge if they're only going to do 8 to 10 episodes. The Diplomat, huge fan of The Diplomat, for instance. I mean, every one of those episodes is like watching The West Wing meets James Bond. It's amazing, the quality. But I know for a fact how exhausting it is for the writers and the production team, and the millions upon millions of dollars being pumped in.
Yeah.
And they only do 8 episodes every year and a half.
They'd better be solid as rocks.
Oh, they are. I mean,
Oh,
the
absolutely.
Diplomat. Have you watched The Diplomat? It's incredible. It really
I've
is like
heard
James
it's great,
Bond meets
yeah.
The West Wing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But you know, I want. Okay, I understand I can't have 22 episodes, but you know, could I have 16 maybe?
Yeah.
I'd be okay with 16.
Lane, what do you think? Where do you find yourself drawn to entertainment right now? Where's the happy medium for you? What do you think is the sweet spot these days with our attention span the way it is and everything else?
Yes.
Well, I'm a binge watcher, so like I love watching
too.
a whole season of a show at once, especially nowadays it's kind of, if you have to wait for a week for a new episode, it can be a little frustrating at times, because you just get real into it. I've been watching Landman as of recently. That's kind of been a fun show.
My parents
But
love it.
yeah, I had a question though, actually. How has AI affected kind of writing in Hollywood? Is that kind of
It's
uh,
awful. I
is
mean,
is it, or is it
it's
kind of
awful.
like a
All the
nightmare?
I mean, the studios, you got a lot of development people are like, we don't really need you anymore.
Oh, I think
We'll
that's
just sit with the AI and come up with the story, and then we'll hire you to do the rewrite instead of come up with the original idea. The Writers
accurate that way,
Guild, of
isn't it?
course, is trying to keep that from happening, but it's happening.
Yeah.
Let's be
Yeah.
frank. There's lawsuits going on left and right, but it's not stopping. There's no true legislation in place. And in fact, this big bill that just passed, was part of it was to prevent any legislation on AI for the next 10 years. So,
Wow, I didn't know that.
but
That's
the
tough.
good thing that's happening is that you have that kind of AI, but you also have AI that is helping with automation, for instance. So it is making it more possible for the small indie productions. I mean, you can literally shoot a movie on an iPhone now. You can shoot a movie. So you're having that happen, and you're having a return to the indie production. I mean, that's when I started in the industry, was with New Line Cinema and Miramax, way back in the beginning with Dust Till Dawn and Nightmare on Elm Street and all that. That's coming back now with the little indies, that they don't need the big studio anymore.
Yeah.
And they can do things legitimately. They can take those chances we were talking about and truly be artistic. So there's good and bad going on.
Do you think that it's kind of a good, like almost like a good writing partner, that you're still able to flesh out your ideas, but maybe they'll able to help kind of connect the dots that you struggle with?
I see it as a fourth dimensional search engine, and I use it that way.
Wow.
I have a Claude account, and I use it for my various. I do a lot of alternate history, science fiction type writing, and I will do it for that. Or, like, I have this novel that I'm working on that takes place on a generational ship, and I need to know how many light years is it to this particular planet and what speed of light. And I'll ask all those questions, and time dilation. I'm not going to figure that out. I'm not a physicist, so.
Lane, can you hear me? I
Oh,
think,
no.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
Lane's
we
dropped
lost.
out.
we blinked out. He was having difficulty with his video, so I'm going to have him reset it. So Michael is okay. He is running late, so we're going to be having him in 7 or 8 minutes here. I'm just setting everything up here.
Okay, so hang on, everyone. Michael's on his way.
Okay. All right, Darren, are you there? Mr. Sumner, Earth to Mr. Sumner. We are in. There we go.
Sorry, I'm dipping into David Hewlett's live stream to see what he's talking about.
What's he talking
Oh,
about?
yeah, I saw that.
I don't know. You didn't let me listen long enough.
All righty. So Michael is going to be joining us in just a moment here. I'm
That's
going
great.
to reset the stream, and actually I'm not going to touch the stream. I'm going to let it go, but I am going to put us into test pattern mode so that I can get us ready and cut this together for the actual episode that's going to end up in a minute here. So I appreciate everyone hanging out. We've got almost 500 people in Wormhole Extremists, so it's a red letter day for us. Let's see how long Michael can stick around. Let's see what his availability is. We're going to get to your questions. Lane, oh, he can't hear me. So, but he's cool. So he's good on time. So we're going to just continue to hang, okay?
Sounds good.
We will see you guys in just a minute, and hang tight.